returning subs, new subs, and new listeners. Sit back and relax. Let me share the harsh, unimaginable, deplorable, racist history of this country. Shall we begin where we left off on part 2? I'll give you a brief recap. There was a co-op formed by Stegner, a professor at Stanford University. He formed the co-op to assist with creating housing in Northern California due to the severe housing shortage. The co-op included 147 white families and 3 black families. Solely because of the 3 black families, the federal government, aka Housing Authority Administration, pushed back, refusing to secure their bank loan. There was no deterring Stegner. He refused to give in to the Housing Authority Administration's racist demand. Stegner presented a counteroffer. They proposed to include a quota system in its bylaws, promising that the number of black Americans in the Peninsula Housing Association would not exceed California's overall population. At the end of part 2, I asked if you think their counteroffer was accepted. The answer is no, it wasn't accepted. The Federal Housing Administration rejected their proposal and the project was stalled. Soon thereafter, Stegner and other board members resigned. The co-op was forced to disband due to not getting financing without government approval. Their endeavors were permanently halted because the racist Federal Housing Administration would not secure financing for their co-op simply because there were 3 black families out of the 150 families who participated in the co-op project. Sad. Eventually, the property was sold to a private developer, and you know what he did, or they did. The developer constructed more single-family homes that were exclusively sold to white families. Ladera was the name of the subdivision, which supposedly still adjoins Stanford campus. Over the years, the numbers of black Americans seeking jobs grew, and homes in and near Palo Alto grew. No developers who depended on federal government loans, insurance, would dare sell to black Americans. Do you see why home ownership in the black American community is so scathingly low decades later? In 1954, one resident of a whites-only area in East Palo Alto, across the highway from Stanford campus, sold his house to a black American family. Almost immediately, Floyd Lowe, president of the California Real Estate Association, set up an office in East Palo Alto, orchestrating a psychological attack against the black family by using their old, reliable method of stirring up good old white families by using fear. Old Lowe wanted the white families so panicked that they would sell their homes. Lowe and other real estate agents used a method called blockbusting. He and other agents warned that Negro invasion was imminent and that it would result in collapsing property values. Soon, numbers of white owners succumbed to the scaremongering and sold their homes at discount prices to agents and their speculators. I guess you can say white families got played too. Their treachery didn't end there. Old Lowe and other corrupt agents put ads in San Francisco papers. Headlines read, "Colored buyers. Black Americans desperate for housing purchase homes at inflated prices." One agent sold 60 previously white-owned properties. Can you imagine how much money they stole from black families? Their unethical actions were reported to the California Real Estate Commissioner, but he refused to take actions, asserting that while regulations prohibited licensed agents from engaging in unethical practices, the exploitation of racial fear was not within the real estate commissioner's jurisdiction. Although the local real estate board would ordinarily blackball an agent who sold to a non-white buyer in the city's white neighborhoods, denying them access to multiple listings once wholesale blockbusting began, the board was unconcerned, even supportive. At the time, the Federal Housing Administration and the Veteran Administration not only refused to insure mortgages for Black Americans in designated white neighborhoods like Ladera, they would not insure whites in neighborhoods where Black Americans were present. Once East Palo Alto was integrated, whites wanting to move into integrated areas could no longer obtain government-insured mortgages. State-regulated insurance companies like Equitable Life Insurance Company and the Prudential Life Insurance Company also declared that their policy was not to issue mortgages to whites in integrated neighborhoods. State insurance regulators had no objection to this stance. Bank of America and other leading California banks had similar policies with the consent of the federal banking regulations. This will conclude part 3 of the series. Stay tuned for part 4. The next time others want to argue that there is no basis for California to pay reparations to Black American Californians, send them a link to the series. The obstruction created by the federal government against Black Americans in their pursuit of peace and happiness is more than enough to show financial harm and emotional harm created by institutions that were put in place to apparently help only one group of people, which is racist. And racism is a badge of slavery that violates the U.S. Constitution 1866 Civil Rights Bill. Until then, please comment, like, subscribe, and share, and set your notifications to be alerted to our new uploads. Your support is greatly appreciated. Enjoy your morning, afternoon, evening, or night. Take care and be safe.